We are now live, although I cannot see us. Aha!
There you go.
Hello, Rhonda. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. The sun's shining in the Pacific Northwest, so all's good.
Oh, well, thank you for joining me for this experimental chat about what's on our heart and mind right here, right now. But before I get to that singular question that's going to fuel our chat today, maybe just give our viewers and our listeners a little bit more background. The people gardener, I love that phrase. So tell us a little bit how about you got into being a people gardener, Rhonda, as we get going.
Well, the people gardener emerged after I was canceled out of my 15-year executive corporate position. Walked in one day and was told, yeah, we've eliminated your position. So out the door I went. I was 58 at that point, and like, okay, I'm way young to retire, so I need to do something. And I'm an avid gardener, and so much of what I did and who I am and my philosophy around leadership is related to the tenets of gardening. And so just kind of naturally fell into the people gardener. And I decided to create an online course, and so I did that, and things have kind of become more clear as time has gone on. Who it is that I serve and where my heart is, and the ones that touch me, and that is emerging leaders. So with a newbie, it's the one that aspiring to be a leader and is wanting some support in, okay, how do I do that and what should I be doing, to the person who's kind of been thrown in the deep end and said, okay, you're leading now, lead away, and they're fumbling around, not quite sure what to do. Or it could be that newer business owner, that has now 2, 3, 5 employees, and they never imagined that they were going to be in a leadership role. Like being a business owner, okay, I get that, but actually leading these people that I've hired to work here, it's like they've no training, don't know what to. So those are the people that I want to help, and those are the people that I want to really help them understand that it's as simple as investing a human they lead and accept the humans. So getting them a really good foundation of human leadership. That's my goal. That's my goal. And so podcast Leadership Simplified, it's the same thing, giving people full opportunity for getting information on how do I lead? What do I do? So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I'm married to the same quiet Irishman, and he's the only one on the planet, I think. 39 years, it was in February. And we have 3 daughters and 6 gorgeous grandchildren and 3 sons. So, yeah, life's good.
Lovely. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I'd love to, I'm really fascinated by that turning up and realizing your job has been eliminated. Sort of that, I'm sure that will feed into the rest of our chat that we have today. But I want to come back to the pretense of this whole conversation. So what is on your heart and mind right here, right now in this moment, Rhonda? What are you thinking and feeling about?
I was, because it was a beautiful thing, and we cherish those here in the Pacific Northwest. We do get a lot of rain. I was out on the patio, and I had the bubbler on, and I was sitting there drinking my coffee, and just really appreciating the beauty of nature that surrounded me, and just the quietness and the peacefulness of the morning, and how grateful I was that I am at a place in my life that I actually get to experience this. So there was a lot of gratitude in my heart this morning. Plus it's Tuesday, and that means it's pizza. We have a wood-fired pizza oven, And last year during COVID lockdown, we started community pizza night here. So our neighbors brought their toppings. I made the dough and did the sauce, and we would fire up their pizzas, and they would take them home and eat them. So Tuesdays are very special days too, because we get to do that. So that's kind of how my day started.
I love that. I really, really love that. I'd love to explore from there, actually, because I think it's really interesting that you mentioned that you're at a stage of your life that you sort of feel into that gratitude piece, that you feel present enough to maybe almost give yourself permission to slow down, to almost have that experience. Because I know I speak quite a lot about the fact that I still am in the rat race. I work in corporate, a very big corporate, but I didn't know until a few years ago, Rhonda, the power and the ideas and the innovation, the freedom that comes from actually slowing down and getting off of that busy track. And I'm wondering how that may or may not play into your work that you're looking to try and do with emerging leaders. Is getting present, slowing down, is that part of the work you do? Is it not? I'm just curious.
I haven't thought it in the slowing down term. I guess another component of simplifying is the slowing down. My work and my focus for these new leaders is to help them just ignore the distraction of metrics, of KPIs, of all of these numbered requirements, all of these reports, all of these spreadsheets, all of this other stuff that may be being thrown at them, expectations, to ignore all of that. Not that there isn't a place for those things, but to ignore it when it comes to leading their people. Because the job is to really get to know and to be interested in each individual person and making sure that they are receiving what they need in order to do the job you've given them to do. And then the other part of it is making sure they're in the right spot, that they're actually doing work that fulfills them, doing work that they're interested in. You don't have the bandwidth to do all of those things and be 100% invested in your people if you're constantly distracted by thinking you have to reach all these different metrics. I've proven in years of leadership that when you focus on the human beings and making sure that they are happy and they're in the right spot, the metrics will look after themselves, because they are going to perform beyond what you would expect of them, because they're engaged, because they're happy, they're jazzed. They're jazzed when they come to work, they're jazzed when they leave. They lead more fulfilling lives because they're happier. They're happier in their job, and they're happier out their job, and so their family and their community benefits. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, no, that really resonates, and I can actually speak, and not that you need validation, but an example of everything you're speaking about is the company I work with for today. You know, we added 6 million euros in sales and 1.5 million over 3 years margin, literally by reorganizing how we organize as a team. Mm-hmm. The meetings that we had, and actually it was interesting, Rhonda, because the metrics are still very important, but they become a fraction of the conversation rather than all of the conversation. And by shifting intentionally that, how do we organize, how do we work together, rather than everything is about hitting that number, we actually increase the number of margin and sales. So I just wanted to share that story, which is a very real one, to reiterate the work that you're doing. So it's brilliant to hear, Rhonda, brilliant.
It's interesting because we think about just even our own life. If we're interested in something, we're going to work to understand it better. We're going to enjoy it. We want to be learning and understanding. We're connected to it because we're interested in. As I was working, I put a new workshop together. A university had a leadership program had asked me to come in and do a workshop for them. And I titled the workshop Be Interested. And it's a hashtag that I have used. I've developed and I use it regularly, especially on LinkedIn, because as I was trying to figure things out, because I always believe that caring is your superpower. If you can care about the human beings, you're so far ahead of the vast majority of leaders out there. Because I mean, this the studies a couple of years ago, over 7% of people say their boss is the worst part of the job. I mean, it's a horrifying statistic, but that is the reality. But what I came to the conclusion is being interested is a prerequisite to caring. It's not a precursor. That was the first word that I grabbed, and it was like, no, that's not right. You have to be interested in order to get to that place of caring. You can't care about something if you're not interested in it. And so being interested is what it's all about, as far as where you want to be a new leader. You want to be curious about the people that you lead. You want to understand them. You want to be attentive. I mean, there's lots of words that describe interest, but you got to be in their life, who they are, what is it they aspire to, what they like, what they don't like, outside the building. Just be all in for that.
It's so interesting, because what comes through for me really powerfully is actually what comes with care is feeling. And it's actually an innate state, which is interesting. You know, we actually feel before we then actually do, generally. So to avoid feeling in the workplace is almost harder work, I think, Rhonda, in many ways, to suppress being happy, or to care about someone, or to be vulnerable and ask for help. Like, all of that stuff's a lot easier if you just sort of allow it to flow, because it comes from your body, rather than trying to suppress it all the time. And I'm just really intrigued about your thoughts around the importance of sort of allowing a feeling as part of emerging leaders, because it's certainly not something I was taught in education, that it's okay to feel.
Yeah. And you know, it's interesting, because feeling, that is kind of who I am. I'm not shy about sharing my feel and how things have impacted me and what I feel about certain things. But I also learned early on in life, I had an experience when I was 13 years old, that I really understood it's okay for me to feel this way. And it's okay for you to feel that way. And it's okay for our feelings to be different. And that to me was one of the most important skills that a leader has to develop. The ability to stand in their emotion, to stand in their feeling, but not project that onto other people. Allow them to stand in theirs, whatever that may be. And they be at loggerheads, and that's okay. You don't have to convince each other over to the other person's way of thinking or way of doing. In time, that might happen with more understanding, with greater clarity, with information. You might get there, but you might not. And you have to be okay. One of the things that I love the most about my old boss is we would get into rip, snort, and drag out conversation about things because we were very different. He was in very, very analytical, very, by the book number kind of thing. And me, I'm wild and gregarious and emotional and all that kind of stuff. And we would have these conversations. And yeah, I shouldn't say they. I got emotional. He never got emotional, but he allowed me to be who I was during this session. Sometimes we met in the middle. Sometimes I couldn't move him from where he was, and I was okay. Hey, this is how you want it. I will get myself together. I will go out, and that's what we will do. Right? I was okay with that, but it was because he gave me the opportunity to share my feeling, my thought of this particular topic. So now it was out, and the decision was made. Okay, we move on. And so to me, it's really important that each person that you lead feel safe and feel comfortable to absolutely share what they think, how they feel on any given subject, any given topic, and know that you're not going to berate them. You're not going to tell them that they're nuts. You're not going to say that no, absolutely, you're wrong. Just let them have the space to share what they're thinking and what they're feeling.
Yeah, it resonates so much with me personally because I wrote a piece actually about a year ago, Rhonda, called emotions are just data points. They're just telling you where you are in your thinking. In that, back to this conversation, right here, right now, in this moment, I may feel happy, I may feel angry, I may feel frustrated, but that's not a feeling I need to hold on to as a truth for the next 6 months, which I've done before because I pretty much burnt myself out several years ago because I held on to stories over a 6-month period. But I didn't need to do that. I didn't realize that I was clinging on to you're not good enough, you're in the wrong place, story. Yeah. And then I went bang. But if I just realized back then, as I now do, which is actually, it's just a feeling, I'm allowed to feel that, get angry, be frustrated, but let it go. Don't hold on to it. And I think that was the gift that you're really speaking to, that you've received as well.
Well, really, just understanding you have choice.
Yeah.
You can choose to let it go. You can choose to keep it and foster it until it's this big, ugly, huge thing that isn't even remotely close to really happened, right? I mean, it's crazy. And life is too short to be going day in and day out with this heavy heart and this heavy frustration. And you can choose to express and to accept that by expressing it yourself, you're getting it out of the body so that it is out there. People can take it, they can leave it. Doesn't matter. That's how you feel. That's what you think, and it's okay to share it. The challenge for me when I was younger and had much less emotional intelligence, I felt that everyone should agree and that everyone feel the same way. Well, here it is. No, you need to change. You need to look at it. You need to feel the same I feel about. You need to believe the same thing I believe in order to hang with me or for us to have a relationship. Blah blah. And what I've learned is that I need to make sure I am centered in what I think, what I feel, and share it in a kind, loving, respectful way. And if it's accepted, great. If it's not, that's okay. But it wasn't like that. I was quite precocious as a child.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I guess if I love these unscripted conversations, they just meander in beautiful directions, Rhonda. And what I'm now really interested in, if you don't mind me asking, is there something that you've learned about yourself that maybe you didn't know 12 months ago, pre-pandemic? Is there anything that's maybe been reinforced, or something that you've completely learned anew about yourself?
I wouldn't say that I've learned something new. What I have discovered is how ingrained this trait is in me. All or nothing. 100 miles an hour and then crash. None of this slow and steady. And through the pandemic, like last year, if anybody watched my feed on Instagram, I was sourdough, and every other day, just constantly into this, tweaking it, changing it. Then the seed starting happened in March. Trays and trays and trays of seeds, probably 4 times as much as I need. And it's been interesting because I've been home and because I've had more time to actually look at it. It's kind of like, wow, yeah, that is so much a part of who you are. And there's an upside to it. And most of my friends and family feel that, because if they come up and they need anything or want anything, I'm all in. What do you need me to do? And just go. They appreciate that part of me. Myself, there's parts of it that I appreciate, but I also know that same energy gets put into procrastination, gets put into something productive. So I can use that as a way of doing what I know that I really need to be doing, and justifying it, because I'm doing stuff, not the stuff that I should be doing. So yeah, that definitely became really clear.
That's so interesting. I'm definitely an all or nothing person as well, if you ask my wife, Jackie. Definitely that person. I just think for me, what's been really interesting is, so I don't do a lot of international travel, and I've been really knocked sideways in many ways how accustomed I've become to not needing that experience of being in the hotel for 3 nights, of wining and dining food away. Like I've become quite a homebody, which I didn't think I was, actually. So that's been and I think there's a lot of people that are in that sort of reevaluation phase of, oh my God, what I accepted as being normal pre-pandemic doesn't have to be that way. Back to your point about choice, how do we design life rather than get dragged through it? and I still sit in that today.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So as we look to get towards the end of our lovely exploration today, I'd love to just hear from you a little bit more about these emerging leaders you're working with. What sort of work are you currently doing? Is there any sort of new innovations coming? Is there any programs you're working on? I'd love for you to use our last few minutes as a bit of a plug.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Well, I still have my course, and in fact, I use my course to one-on-one. I do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and so the first 4 weeks of coaching, we actually go through the course. And again, my focus is on simplifying. I don't bring in psychology. I don't even bring in like emotional intelligence. I don't bring in necessarily, how to deal with conflict, all of those things. I just want people to stop and be human. I want them to explore developing a relationship with the human beings that they lead. And so for me, that is the core part, and I find that I can best do that on a one-on-one. I am actually looking at doing a more like a group coaching cohort, like a 3-month program. Working on that. Haven't got that all together yet, but it's definitely works. And I speak, so I do that as well. The university that brought me on from Washington University, and it was in their leadership capstone program, and they asked me to come and speak, and so did workshops inside the program. Happy to talk inside people's programs on leadership and then on podcasts. And it was 2020 was supposed to be the year I was going to completely focus on speaking from stage, because I love human beings. I am my most energized, and I am interacting with physical, actual human beings. And I love that. Interaction. And well, then COVID hit. So we had to wait a bit. And so there's few little in-person things happening, but not many at this point. But would encourage people to go to my website, rhondadelaney.com. Got a great simple download, 3 actionable steps to get you started, and then to listen to the podcast. I've got great guests, and you're going to be on in a few weeks. But that give simple, actionable steps that people can take. I mean, these steps apply to leadership at any stage, but most importantly to those that are just getting going.
Amazing. Well, Rhonda, you've been an absolute joy, and it's. I just find it fascinating that we've been connected for a while. Lots of human first connections. Nod to Mike Vacanti. Great conversations on Clubhouse, and then this is the first time we actually have a one-to-one, face-to-face virtually. So I love how the universe works. So, any final thoughts from you for our kind listeners today and viewers? Anything you'd like to leave them with? Something that's on your heart and mind, or maybe just an invitation as we go into our evenings and afternoons?
Just be kind. You know, we need more kindness. Period. I'm part of a project called the Growings Project, and you grow flowers and you give flowers, give bouquets out into the community, and I get more joy from putting the flowers together and giving them away, I think, than the people that actually receive them. And yet there's always huge smiles and thank yous and whatnot, and just simple acts of kindness. We need more kindness. Hence my kindness free, sprinkle it everywhere.
Oh, I just love the authenticity and congruency of all of your words and your brand, Rhonda. It's beautiful to witness. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. So have a great afternoon.
Awesome. It's been delightful.
Cheers, Rhonda. Take care.
Bye-bye.
I just want to say that of all the wonderful people I've had a chance to meet, it's just amazing how authentically Tues shows up.
Get away from the myopic focus on just the metrics. We need to be looking at vulnerability, curiosity, what it means to be human, and have the human conversations that are so often missing in the workplace.